Hello there. I haven't recorded in a while, and this is obvious. I've been streaming, and even then, not a lot. But today I have something special that I've been planning for a little bit, and I decided to finally do it. You, I don't know if you probably guessed this, but I am a rather big fan of Junji. He has such wonderful artwork. I just can't help but be enticed by everything from the way he describes the horror to the way he even draws the eyes. But with that aside, I've read a lot of his works. I have nearly all of the collection, besides Frankenstein and Remina, even though I have read them. And I, from being a fan, I was told to avoid the Junji collection, which is on Netflix. I decided to finally put on my big boy pants and see if it was truly that bad, and yeah, it's unfortunately kind of disappointing. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing like incredibly fucking awful, but it's nothing great either. I feel like it was a waste of potential. Now, I'm not the first person to probably say this. Many others have probably said it too, and let's be honest, they say it with a better voice than me. But I still feel like I can give my opinion on the matter. So, if I may, I would like to go through some of the stories in the Junjito collection and tell what I thought and what I liked and what I disliked. So, first, to clear everything for everyone who isn't here, Junjito collection was, let's say, an anthology that was adapted from various different works of Junjito. An artist who makes horror, as I probably mentioned. It was licensed by Crunchyroll Funimation and produced and animated by Studio Dean. It adapts stories from several of the works, and it premiered on January 5th, 2018, if I'm correct. It has 12 episodes, and it was lackluster, we could say. It was announced back in 2017, and yeah, it has a good theme that I can say. The Writhing Agony is an amazing, like, beautiful um team. Oh, I forgot to mention it has two OVAs, and that's one of my probably the favorite part of the entire thing. So let's start by talking it. Episode number one. I should pull some images to reference this. By the way, I'm not being very professional here, but you probably don't come here for professionalism. Yeah. First off, we start off with one of the most famous stories, Soichi, the Convenient Curse. Now, this, I do believe, is a good choice. Pulls you in immediately, you get some of the themes, and you get one of the most iconic Junji Ito characters besides Tomi herself. Hell Funeral, again, not a bad, not a bad story. Following the next episode, Fashion Model, another another amazing story. Fuchi is a horrifying monster, and I love seeing her. I would love to see her more, but she only appears in like three stories. Two of them are involving Suichi, and only her only standalone story is a fashion model. And the Long Dream, not being my cup of tea, but not a bad story. But at the crossroads, these are where we get to the stories that, again, really good story. Not for me though. Slug Girl. I couldn't think of another better fucking story to put in this. Slug Girl, a story about which is, how do I explain this? I really don't want to spoil this for you in case any of you want to check this, so just skip ahead like 30 seconds if you don't want to spoil it. But basically, it's a story about social criticism about how we leave people to madness with social outcasting them and how, weirdness affects us. And in the end, you just can't help but feel bad for the main character. It's got amazing body horror, and the thematic is beautiful. Following up, we have Shiver and Marionette Mansion. Shiver, I can't say I'm a big fan. Marionette Mansion was beautiful, though. Just amazing. Fifth one, we have the ongoing Tale of Oshikiri, which solid pick. And Cloth Teacher, which seeing more of Soichi is always good. Wind Next Door is another classic. Gentle Goodbye, I feel like it could have been replaced because it's meh. Used Record, Town of No Roads, Honored Ancestors, Circus Comes to Town. All of those just seem lackluster. And I haven't even started on the animation, which it's iffy at best. Here's where you see that it just starts getting dimmed and the quality just starts lacking. Then we get the painter, Tomie. I am my first exposition. Yeah, first time I was exposed to Junji was with Tomie, and that story marked me on a personal level. It is beautiful. It is scary. It has everything I want from the perfect amount of body horror, psychological, everything. Read it if you can. Just get a collection. Just go look for it online. I'll even probably drop some stuff in the Soka server if anyone's interested. By the way, shout out to Soka Soldier. You can, you check him. Seriously. Check that man. He's amazing in his work. Um, Blood Bubble Bushes. Mm, another lackluster story. I like the whole twist behind it, but the whole concept of the vampire is, you try to give a spin on a vampire. Can't fault him for that one. Vampires are, a little bit overdone. But yeah, I think the on paper it's better than greased. Here's where we get this. I like this story, but I feel like unfortunately due to the amount of their limited production, they couldn't put as much detail to gross us out as the original manga has. With Because first of all, it's nearly impossible to replicate the amount of detail that Junji puts into his work. Let me just show for any of you who are none the wiser an example of his art. If I may. I am pulling it up right now. Oh, wrong position, but hey, you get it. This amount of detail would be probably maddening to do in some sort of fucking animation. Honestly, I can't even blame them for not putting like. This is just an example. Uzumaki again, beautiful. I can't even blame them for not going for this amount of detail, for example. And they are going to make Uzumaki, and they're deciding to make it black and white, which I surely hope they go for something at least close to this, but it's been announced for a while now, and I don't know if it's either gonna take. That's the thing with making it stuff. You either need to put all the time and effort into making sure everything is perfect, or people are not gonna appreciate it because, first of all, not a lot of people appreciate Junji Ito's work, as I feel of. I don't know if I'm in the wrong here, but yeah, more people were appreciating horror in general, but horror is more jump scary nowadays than actual psychological horror. And I like this type of Silent Hill, Twilight Zone-esque things. I know I'm not the only one, I'm not special, but it's beautiful to see this sometimes. And admire just the craftsmanship that the man puts into making pieces such as this. And I just think that not enough people appreciate the time and effort that takes into put this. Something that, you know, not only can touch you on a deep level, it can make you feel such emotions as fear, one of the most primal, one of the few instincts we have. Not enough people like it because, it's fear, it's not something good, but some people look for an adrenaline rush. That's what draws people who are fan of horror games. They like the adrenaline rush. And I don't blame people if they don't like horror games. I was fucking traumatized when I was younger for overexposure from horror media, but I grew out of it. I'm not saying that people need to grow out of it. I'm just saying that if you do, if you're avoiding it, give it a shot. Again, read his stuff. I couldn't compliment it enough. I will never be able to compliment that man enough. Anyways, returning to the selection. As I was saying, graced, amazing story, but due to the lack of detail that they were able to put, it felt lackluster, along with Bridge. Supernatural transfer student, again, not amazing. Scarecrow, good but lacking story. Smashed in rumors. Smashed, beautiful story. Execution. Animation lackluster, faces morphing a bit with the movement, but I guess that's part of the fluidity. And rumors. Once again, we see Soichi's shenanigans along with the fashion model Fuchi, and that's where it ended. That's where the series ended. It was got mixed reviews, and then it was released on 3 separate sets of DVDs. They're probably cheap nowadays. The second and third set include the OVAs, which I'm going to talk about better. Tomie, Tomie, Tomie. This story marked me on a personal level, and it is just. Mm, hmm. I'll keep it simple. Mad Fungal Lady. That is all I can say. From a long time, people have been. I think since the 80s, this is when the concept was created. The femme fatale. A woman who is dangerous. Simple as that. Tomie is the reverse of that. I would say the anti-succubus. She has a power over men, making them immediately fall in love with her due to her sheer presence. Mostly any sort of person who feels any lust towards her. She, through her mere presence, is capable of inflicting massive psychological and emotional damage to people, driving them insane and into jealous rages that makes them commit brutal acts of violence, gore, and self-harm. Men kill each other, women are driven to insanity, and though there are people who resist her, she can make those people get killed by the ones who love her. She's not using her sexuality, though, and that's why I refer to it as the anti-succubus. Succubus, something most commonly associated with sexual desire. Use that to her advantage. Tomie doesn't even seem that attractive. She doesn't even use her sexuality, doesn't even promise any of that. She just naturally attracts people and drives them to insanity, to killing her, which, unfortunately, she can regen. What do you want me to say? That's basically it. If you cut her into pieces, each piece will regrow unless you burn the entire fucking body. It's honestly beautiful, some of the body horror that came from the series. Allow me to show more. I love the whole gimmick of the portrait. It is hard to describe in words how I feel for this man's art, as he is a master of the genre. There is no other way to describe it that would put it to, that would give the man his due. Save image. From the beauty of Blackbird to, well, I wouldn't say Gyo, Uzumaki. I'm not the biggest fan of Gyo, honestly. I just thought the thing was a little bit iffy. Wasn't scary to me. Yeah, as you can see, this is the thing I love. The beauty of the disfigurement, the movement, something that can only be seen through the lens of a camera, because to anyone else it just looks normal. A subtle nod, well, not so subtle nod to her two-faced nature and the fact that she, in fact, is not human. A monster whose pure desire is egocentric and disgusting in nature, revealed only through the lens of something that is not natural. There's just something poetic about that. But that everything, I hope you had a fun time with this little video that I made. I hope to cover more of this stuff in later videos and even stream more. Since I have a new microphone, I have a new setup, and I honestly enjoy making these videos, even if not many people watch them. And with that being said, I bid you farewell. If you liked, like, comment, remember to click confirm after unsubscribing, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.